Hello, Ms. Z.
Hi, John.
Hi. So good to see you. Everybody, we're going to get started here in a little bit. We're a little early, but I want to come on and make sure that all this was functioning properly. And of course, I want to say hi to Z.
Hello.
So good to see you. Thank you for being on today. I love the timing of this.
Yeah, really.
And I know you're bringing some fire to this call and a lot of love as well. So this is going to be awesome.
You know me.
Hey, and for those of y'all who are on the call now, if y'all haven't heard Z singing and transmitting that way, it is
Hi, April.
through this galaxy amazing. I actually got on. You did a post the other day, and you were channeling, transmitting through your voice, and it was it moved me. So thank you.
Yeah, actually, and because we're doing Zoom, I think I'm actually going to be able to do a little bit of live channeling, sound healing today on air. So I got my equipment set up here, so I'm ready.
All right, so we'll get that going. And for everybody, while we're rating, there goes my voice today. And I'm going to get into participants here real quick. So in case any of y'all come on unmuted, I can manage that quickly so that we can give Z the flow that I want to make sure she's granted on our call. We'll move that. Hey Z, do you know how to tell participants how to raise their hands on Zoom? I always forget.
I have no idea, actually.
April knows. April will type it into me. April, if you'll type it into the chat, that would be wonderful. And again, y'all that are on early, we're gonna get started here in a couple of minutes. We're gonna open up to questions also. So if you know how to raise your hand on Zoom, then, and you know you want to ask a question, go ahead and do that. If not, I'll tell you the how to do that. Emily, thank you. Upper right-hand corner. And it won't let me do it as a host, and so I never know how. And it's highlighted in blue, and you have to click on the more button right underneath you. So again, you'll get there. And I think you can also hit Alt something, and I'm sure April will remind me of how to do this. Again, you guys can type in your question in the chat box, or again, I'll give you instructions here on how to raise your hand. But again, this is going to be such an amazing conversation that I want to invite you to open your hearts and follow the flow, and perhaps allow the questions to come afterwards if there are any, because you just might be in such a deep state of receptivity or expansion that the questions won't matter at that moment. Perhaps they'll get resolved or expand into a new level of consciousness and awareness that's available to you organically because of this relationship that we're having together with Z on the call today. So super excited about what's coming in and what Z is going to share. So we can dive in here in just a second. Z, are you outside of Sedona right now?
Yeah, I live here. I'm about 4.5 hours east of Sedona in New Mexico.
Ah, okay. Well, wonderful. It's a great desert energy that you're bringing to us from there. And I'll bring some Lemurian energy from over here in Hawaii. I'll bring some water. Yeah. And so we'll anchor both of those realities in to amplify today's call. So Z, let me know when you're set up and you're ready to go. And
yeah, I'm just putting some lights on here because it was a little dark. And I know somebody said that the volume is low, and I just plugged a mic in, so just let me know if that's better now.
I think your volume sounds fantastic. I don't think there's an issue with that at all.
Great.
And so we're good there. And again, so we're gonna get started here and welcome Z, Earthstar Healer. And it's, again, I'm just so thrilled about today's call, the timing of it, what's coming from resonance that that I can feel is going to be shared here. Oh, Jean, good to see you on here. I can see everybody on here coming on. So we've got Leanne and Jean and Helen and Linda and so many of y'all that are on here. So again, we're going to start the call here. Z will take live calls. We're going to go through transmission as well, but also to raise your hand if you do want to ask your question. In Windows, you can type Alt-Y, and then on a Mac, it's Option-Y. And there's a blue bar at the top left-hand corner that Emily shared that I believe tells you whether or not you can raise your hand there as well. And if y'all are ready, I'm certainly ready and so excited to get started. So Z Earthstar Healer, and it's, what can I say about Z personally other than reading her bio so that you can really transmit? But immediately with Z, there's this connection and there's an awareness of a hierarchy that doesn't exist in relevance to the wisdom that we carry. So age isn't a barometer. Life experiences are not necessarily a barometer. It's the depths that we go into from the access that we're open to from a soul level and the remembrances. That's really the value here. And the second I saw Z, and before I even felt even the transmission, I recognized her as someone who's timeless in sharing this wisdom and raising the frequency and the vibration through truth, through love, through wisdom, and through sight. And by anchoring that here, she becomes a catalyst for all of us and reminding us of the power that we hold within that truth and awareness as well. So to tell you all a little bit about Z, I'm going to read her bio. So Z Earthstar Healer is a vessel for evolutionary angelic consciousness. I love that. Through the arts of oracular singing, writing, and multidimensional energy work. She believes that reclaiming our infinite creativity through the healing of our sexuality is the way to building heaven on earth. Earthstar Healer is an organic source intelligent light and sound technology which restores distorted DNA and geometry in the multi-dimensional light field we perceive as reality. Can y'all feel even the transmission in this bio? It's amazing. Z teaches others how to access our higher consciousness and psychic capabilities to heal and embody complete energetic sovereignty and move into a life of purpose. And we're going to talk about creation, magic, and so much more. But Z, welcome so much to today's call. And I'm so happy we get to do this on a video call with you. And Z, are you there? Oh, it looks like Z froze up on us. Hold on. Z Earthstar. And let's give her a second to come back on, which will actually be great. It'll give other people an opportunity to join the call as well. So hopefully you all will see her here in a second. I'm sure she'll log back in. And as she does come back in, I wanted to bring an awareness as to all of the energies that are swirling around us right now. And my invitation for each and every one of you is to question each reaction, each feeling tone, each awareness, and to pause and to ask that it be brought into the mastery that you carry. I was meditating today for, it was about an hour and a half. I went deep into meditation. It was being so beautifully facilitated. And in that, I heard a couple of things that were quite profound, a few things that I'm going to take action on that I'll reveal later as I'm ready to roll those out, hopefully in the next week or two. But the one thing that stuck out so beautifully for me, and it's a call for all of us, the clarion call, as Judy Calley so eloquently stated yesterday on the call. And the call is that it's time for us to feed the hungry. It is time to feed the hungry. And what does that mean in context? What does that mean in our ability to provide sustenance, to provide nourishment for others through what we hold within ourselves, what we have cultivated, what we have sown and seeded and are harvesting now? And sometimes we don't know the abundance of our harvest until it is time to give it to others who could benefit from the nourishment, from that medicine that you bring. So again, as Z comes up, again, I want to share the awareness that came through, again, this deep, profound meditation that you have, all of you, through your awareness, through your love, through the work that you've done over the years, or the work that you're stepping into, what your heart's calling you to step into your leadership, to feed those who are hungry right now, to feed those who require this spiritual nourishment, this love, this compassion that you have. That is the sustenance that is providing the foundation, really the fertile soil for this next evolution of growth that we're stepping into, that we're growing into. And so there's going to be more shared about that, but it was profound. It sounded very biblical in my meditation and my channeled message. And I just trust that more of it will be revealed. But even getting to share it here with you all right now, I know is causing the ripple effect of that message to spread. So know where it is that you have your harvest. Be aware of it. Whenever things come up that seem to maybe shake you up or pause you or remind you of what you hold within, breathe into all of that and carry your awareness around it. Carry the mastery that you hold, and be generous in your sharing it in light and love of others. Hey, Zia, you back on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there you are. Hi. Well, welcome to the call.
Thank you. I am loving that energy coming through you. I can really tell that Hawaii has been so good for your energy. It feels so good. It smells like leafy greens after the rain in the jungle.
That's exactly what it's coming to right now. You're definitely picking up on the resonance. So Z, let's get into this conversation. And I like that you are irreverent in a lot of your awareness, where there's just no BS. You just tell it how it is. And let's get into the distortion part of what you're seeing around this magic that we're creating now.
Yeah, I think there's a participant here that was unmuted. Okay. So wow, what an incredible time we are in the middle of here. You know, there's so much happening just out in the world. You know, in the political arena and in this whole debacle that we're having in mass media. Personally, I have been very blessed to be living in a place where people are experiencing this time very differently. So I'm hearing a lot of touching here.
Me too. I'm going to find out what's going on with everybody.
Yeah. I lost you there. Oh, okay. So I'm very lucky that I live in a place, you know, far away from the false matrix in the forest. And most of the people that live out here in the community had noticed their discontent with the world, you know, decades ago, and they all moved out here and started permaculture farms. And so the last week, you know, every time I left my house and went to the store, there would literally be joyful people, you know, skipping across the street, screaming, "Happy apocalypse!" You know, and it's just kind of a different vibe than what I'm sensing in other places in the world. And so for that, I'm very grateful. I feel that this energy is really supporting me in a lot of the astral journeys that I have been, missions that I've been taking on. And also allowing me to recognize that there's an overarching other timeline that we are creating. And I felt this energy come in as being kind of the focus of today's call, just, you know, a few hours ago. And the way that it was worded was that, you know, we're creating the new world, that the safety web that people will be able to fall onto when the false matrix finally crumbles. You know, a lot of people have just been screaming for the false matrix to fall apart. And meanwhile, you know, everybody lives in the city, in the false matrix. So if it really fell apart, you know, what would we do? And so actually there is this transition time where the light workers are taking, you know, slowly, I think people call it the bifurcation or the timeline split, where a lot of us light workers and starseeds are being called to move into a different frequency so that we can fully embody our, our truth and our power and our creativity, and our magic powers. And then I'm sensing that at some point there's going to be a re-merging, right? We didn't come here just to ascend into this different frequency and then leave all of humanity to suffer and struggle until, until what? um, so this message actually came through in 2016 when the messages of bifurcation first came about. And while it made sense because I was experiencing it myself, like I had, stepped away from the false matrix. I had, completed my last job, and I was pretty much living fully based on my intuition and guidance, and traveling all over the place, doing good work and learning and communicating with aliens, living in that reality. And so for me, when the information about bifurcation came about, like, yes, I was experiencing that quote unquote timeline split. But what didn't make sense to me was there was a lot of information also out there about how, at some point, some of us are going to be so ascended and light that we're just going to lift right out of here. And then the people that aren't as good will get left here and continue to be controlled by reptilians and whatnot. And that never made any sense because there was a code written so deep in my soul that I knew that I was here to assist Gaia and all of humanity through this transition. So that, didn't make sense to me. And so as I explored this timeline split a little bit more, I realized that this message is really for the light workers, that in order for us to actually fully embody, for us to actually fully access all of ourselves, we needed to take space from the false matrix. We needed to create a safe place where we're not being oppressed by those false belief systems and energies and ways of enslaving our time and energy, and really learn, what energetic sovereignty feels like in our body, what being in creative flow feels like for us. And only from that place can we start accessing all of these little bits of, memories and expertise that we carry from previous lifetimes and other dimensions. And what happens once we embody that? Do we just turn into a rainbow and disappear? Or what would be the point? Right? Of course, at that point, we are going to actually anchor and be able to open up, all of us becoming a portal to anchor this new earth for humanity to migrate onto. So, when the false matrix does crumble, they're not just falling into a pit of distress, but actually falling onto the organic grid and reminded that life is so beautiful and abundant and exuberant and magical on this planet. And that field of consciousness is what we're building, the light workers and the starseeds, is that as we begin to really experience reality in this way and begin to co-create and play with the life force that is here on this planet, as we come into this vibration, we're creating this organic vibration of being alive on Earth, which sounds silly, but we've really forgotten. Somebody asked, how soon am I feeling this old matrix to crumble? And that's a great question. Well, as quickly as we are willing and able to process all of our stuff and come into this place of beauty and grace. And, I always say that it's the external reality, it's kind of just a charade. It's just like a black mirror almost, because people say, well, we want disclosure to happen. We want full disclosure to happen, and we want this other thing outside of ourselves to appear in society. Well, if full disclosure actually happened right now, do we have all of the ground crew on deck ready to actually support all of humanity through that healing? Right? So it's very orchestrated. We're not actually fighting against anything. Disclosure is going to happen. New Earth is going to be created. All of this is already ordained in the legend and the destiny of our creation. So what that is dependent on is how ready we are as a collective of light workers and healers to support that transition for everyone. And these visions that first came through were of healing centers. these massive healing centers that would be built in major cities around the world that would literally be able to assist all of humanity to recover from, planetary sexual enslavement, which is what has happened here on this planet, where interdimensional beings came and created a false reality, hijacked our creative energy and our soul's creativity, mostly so that we as creator beings can learn about the responsibility of being creator beings. So how many of us are in that place where we can build a healing center, right? That is like kind of, I hear so many people, that is like their dream. They want to open up an eco center or an eco village or a healing center, big or small. But, oh, there's not enough money. We're waiting for money to appear from an external source. And that could happen. So the information and the support that's coming through at the moment is this teaching called the mechanics of creation. And so the mechanics of creation talks about how our physical body and how our vessel is actually created, and so it was designed to be a creator being. Humans were designed and created to be creative and creator beings, sovereign creator beings. So what that means is that we have the ability to pull in raw cosmic life force energy and transform that and materialize that into whatever creation that we want, right? And that's why I say that so far on this planet, we have been learning about the responsibility of that, because if you look around on this planet, humans have truly placed a footprint on the planet. We have created a bunch of stuff and it's apparent that it's there. We done did it. We created things, right? But how much responsibility to all of creation was infused with all of those creations? And this is why, things are kind of falling apart. And with various civilizations all over the universe, at a certain point, civilizations either make or break. And what makes a civilization is really our alignment and devotion to the co-creation and our reverence to all of creation itself, our responsibility to creation itself. So at this point, the light workers are really being encouraged to show up in that mastery of saying, okay, if you believe, if you have this idea, if you have this code or download that you are a creator being, then especially if the code is like, people like to say we are infinite creator beings, and this is absolutely true because we have access to infinite creative energy. So if it is true that we are infinite creator beings, then this should mean that we could alchemize that truth into it reflecting in our 3D material reality. And this is a level of mastery and alchemy that all of us are really walking into right now, is really walking these codes that have been percolating in our system for a long time. I'm finding that a lot of the distortions that are blocking us from experiencing that, I'm really talking about, if you want to build a healing center, and I'm not just talking about like, a little storefront in your city, something that's going to be able to really support mass humanity, right? We're allowing ourselves to dream in this way. A healing center that's going to be able to support 1 million people to come and recover and heal from this level of galactic level soul trauma. That is literally what we are here to do. We're here to support humanity through that level of trauma and on that level of planetary scale. So what is keeping us from accessing the resources and the support that we need to actually make that happen? Well, for the most part, I'm sensing that it is actually just, again, blockages in our energy system. So the teachings that are coming forth are really to assist us in not only remembering and intellectually understanding that we are infinite creator beings, but actually know how to move through our own energy system and become aware of the knots and distortions in our energy system that is keeping that truth from being literally experienced, right? Literally having access to infinite creative energy to be able to create that which you'd like.
And this is kind of a deep thing, because human creativity kind of has been hijacked and it had been stolen for a long time. This is why we have so much sexual distortion in our society. It's not that, these controllers are perverts. Well, they are, but that's not all it is. It's just that, they understand actually that sexual energy is how humans access creative energy, and that by distorting this deeply powerful, sacred, creational energy, that humans will not be able to access that creative power, thus not be able to create another reality outside of the control system. So at this point of our journey here together on the planet, we're really beginning to come down into the sacral and the root chakra. And this is coming through as some issues, because there are just so many misunderstandings and misbeliefs and blockages like shame, all of this, like when we even just like say the word sex, like, or just like not being able to feel that part of our body. In the mundane reality, we think, oh, it's just sex. But in the grand scheme of cosmic everythings, our sexual organs is literally our raw creative life force energy. And so without access to that, we will not be able to materialize anything in physical reality. We will not be able to transform things on a major scale. And I feel like this level of maturity and embodiment of mastery, like on this foundational bending of matter level, is really a new thing. Like we haven't really, in this cycle of human civilization, we haven't really fully gotten here. So that's very exciting that, even on that large evolutionary cycle, we're at this moment of incredible consciousness evolution as a species, to be able to experience our infinite creatorhood in physical and in experienced as, being able to bend matter, basically.
So Z, let me ask you this, because we're talking about that distortion and sexual energy as creative energy. What does that sexual energy look like when it's actually aligned, when it's expansive? Because we many of us are aware, through our religious upbringing, through our family upbringing, through all the, those places that come up within us that we feel judged or repressed or we have to hold back. What does the healed aspect of that sexual energy look like? What is it that we're striving towards or organically growing into to open, so that we can be aware of the signs and nurture them, as opposed to turning them off because of some old fear that might be running the show?
Yeah, great question. So I feel like I live, really far out into the forest, and I live with a very beautiful man that I call my husband. And so out here, I feel very safe. I often just like spend the whole day, hanging out in the woods or in my RV, and sometimes we go for days without putting clothes on. And it's just like over this whole year, I feel like a lot of this societal judgment surrounding this energy have kind of melted off me. And the place that I have moved into kind of looks like, okay, so if I become excited about something like a creation, and this is a part of the mechanics of creation teachings. Basically, there are 3 creational centers in our energy body, and this is information that I learned from my Taoist masters, either in dream time or through meditation. So in the Taoist and Qigong traditions, we know that there are 3 main energy centers: the higher, middle, and lower Dantian. These 3 centers are actually the 3 predominant kind of wheels that have to work together when we are creating something. And so in popular culture, you hear about the law of attraction, which tells you how to visualize things that you want. Well, this is actually only activating one of our creational centers, which is the higher Dantian, where we access our inspiration in combination with our imagination. So say, for example, we recognize that there is a huge issue with the medical system or the education system. And we intuitively understand that there needs to be a shift and that we want to somehow help to create that shift. So when our energy body is functioning properly, that intellectual part of our imagination works together with our inspiration from the planetary collective and the planet and our higher selves and the cosmos. All of this energy will start inspiring us and giving us ideas about ways we can help or shift or create a creation which helps to fix that issue that we're seeing. So when this is when, if we had blockages in our crown chakra or in our Melpomene chakra, we might not be able to access our imagination or inspiration correctly. And this is when we might feel a dullness of inspiration. Like for me, I'm inspired by 50 things at once sometimes, and I have to be very selective about the things that I actually bring into fruition. And I like to say it's almost like cosmic sperms, there's like a million of them. You don't have to gestate them all in your womb. So how do we decide, what to do? So we tune into the next creational center, which is our heart. And this is our center of motivation. So for example, I'll sometimes notice like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if the kitchen had this tool? It would just make my life so much easier and, like an invention. And then I'll be like, I'm actually not like super passionate about squeezing lemons, like this tool works just fine. I don't need to improve that. So, then that kind of idea dwindles because I'm not allowing it into the rest of my creational force. So say then I have this idea that I want to create a new healing modality for anxiety and depression. And actually, this is something that I feel really inspired to do. And so I allow that energy to move through into my heart, and I feel how motivated and passionate and how excited that makes me feel, how much love that is going to bring into the people's lives as this creation is being created. And so it passes this gate of motivation. I'm feeling good, I'm feeling passionate, I feel ready to bring this creation into manifestation. So I find that actually a lot of people have this part down where they kind of know what they want to do and they're usually really passionate about it. And then from here on is actually when the difficulty comes, where it's like, how do we actually get it out? Then we get creativity constipation, right? You're like, oh, I just want to get this thing out. I don't know where to start. And chances are it's because there are density and distortions in our lower body. Because for me, when I get started working on something that I'm passionate about and something that comes in through this higher center, is that then my sexual energy turns on. It's almost like an engine, and I start becoming very aroused and becoming very wet. Like I start to feel pleasure, and in some cases I even just have like energy orgasms as this idea is coming through. And it's not like I'm aroused by, a man or, whatever, image that we think. It's like I'm so aroused by this creation that's coming through because I love the universe so much. I love humans so much. I love this project that's coming in so much because I feel that it's going to nourish and heal and bring so much goodness to the world, that that energy is the energy of creation. That level of arousal and pleasure is how we pull universal cosmic creative energy into this realm, and that energy will flood my body, and then bam, I know what the next step is. I just start creating and things just kind of flow and get created. And this works on bigger projects as well. That I think I will kind of go into in a little bit. But that brings me to this masterclass that I'm doing at the end of the month that's coming through. It is a 3-day masterclass where I really go into this.
That's the special offer that we're offering, right?
Yes, it is.
But let's take everybody there since you're talking about it now. Y'all click on the special offer button under Z's picture on the webcast page where you clicked on the Zoom link to get on this call. Or you can type into your web browser beyondtheordinaryshow.com /Z21, and it's XI21. And it'll take you to that same page, and follow along, because this is just, it's such potent creation energy that's coming through, Z. And so, yeah, please share what's going to be transmitted during participating with you during that time.
Yeah, so this is actually a really special offering because I am at this moment 8.5 months pregnant. And so in respect of my baby space, I'm not really doing any more private sessions. And so my guidance has actually created this 3-day masterclass / ceremony to help push people, because there's something massive happening. If y'all have not noticed, there's a massive shift happening on our planet. And when I look at the planetary timeline, it looks like there's still infrastructures of control, like mind control and weirdness, going on, now through April. But when I tune into May, it's almost like we're in a totally different planet. It's like so much energy have lifted off the planet. And some of you might know that, I personally do feel like some mass arrest situation is happening. I don't really like read the news or anything, but I've been getting galactic messages about this happening for the last year. And there were a lot of earthquakes in places where there are military bases today. So it's just been getting this hunch that a lot of deep cleaning is happening. And while the deep cleaning is happening, we can receive our mission to support that. But my main mission has been, as I was saying, creating a platform or energetic network for the new to come into fruition, a net to catch the people that are going to fall out of the false matrix, and that are going to catch them and say, oh, don't actually, nothing is falling apart. Like, look at this beautiful planet that we got, actually, right? So this masterclass was created at this time to really help us get ready for that timeline when we are on the ground, activated, and doing what we came here to do. So if there are still some blockages in our energy system that's not allowing us to create as the proficient creators that we are, this is kind of the container or the technology that's here to help us get clear about what those things are and to remove them. So the first 2 days of the masterclass is actually me going through the 3 creational centers and diagnosing and also clearing the different blockages that might be present. And on the 3rd day, we actually do a oracle medicine ceremony. And these have been amazing because I worked a lot with ayahuasca in the previous years. My birth name actually means fragrant medicinal tea in Chinese. So I feel a deep connection with plant medicine, but it never really felt like I was going to become a plant medicine practitioner. And over the last few months, I started channeling the frequency of plant medicine to a point where people receiving these ceremonies, if they are really desiring a deep cleansing, they're actually like physically purging, like vomiting, and having very similar responses as a actual ayahuasca ceremony, but not, they're never as like super intense that we can't integrate them, right? So I feel like this is a new way that this medicine is sharing itself at this time. So the 3rd day, we're going to do the sound healing ceremony, which I'm going to share a session a little bit with you today, just because, there's so many things, there's only so many ways you can say things. But I feel like with a lot of what I am holding space for, I feel like is more about having the experience. So actually, there's one more thing that I want to share with everybody before we do that transmission, if it's okay with you, Sean.
Oh, yeah, I want to keep going. Absolutely.
Okay. So you might actually find this really exciting as well, because, okay, so here's the funny part. Last year in May was when John and I first started talking. Like he was saying, we kind of immediately hit it off because there is this, original Gaia consciousness frequency that was coming through us both. And we both found this very exciting. We both found that, this was what was kind of the next step for humanity, because there's been, you know, we're over with the false light and the idolizing of, you know, idols and things like that. Like, what, we just want to kind of like play in the belly of our mother and experience the magic that we have, right? So that we kind of really bonded over that. And so at that time I invited John to co-create an event with me, and we were gonna host it April 22nd, but that's pretty much when my baby's gonna come.
Well, and not everybody's traveling right now. So I was looking at events coming up and the planning that we had for something to come in around April or May. And it's funny how it just wasn't locking in. So it's guidance. And I want to let you finish, but what also what you do so beautifully as well. And what I've started listening to even more, I'm noticing it within myself, is how we can be in creation mode and go through the dantians, to go through those layers. And there's a listening, and as we create also, and even as that sexual energy runs, that creation mode runs, there's also an organic unfolding that's beyond time that happens. So we can be in that creation, we can be all lit up from it, but there's a release from it without having it to, if you will, orgasm right away. It'll come, metaphorically. It'll come to fruition, but there's a letting go, there's a trust, a faith, and a wisdom that comes from letting go and letting God, if you will.
Yeah, that's actually such a beautiful point. And I feel that that is like a collective healing of our masculine, because if we think about our inner masculine, it's been taught that we need to do, get stuff done, that we need to control our energy and just make things happen. But actually in this fluid process of creation, it's more of a natural impulse to create. It's more like, it's not a mental, okay, now I have to create a schedule and ask these people and email things, but more of like a natural impulse where the body goes, oh, now I'm excited to create this thing. Like, what would feel really good for me to do right now versus what do I have to do right now? So yeah.
And I took you off topic, but yeah, we were connecting. It was about a year ago, and now your baby, which congratulations.
Right.
Coming in, just what a gift for all of us. And it's again the organic nature of those things unfolding, and what's always for us will always be for us, and that I have no doubt about. That keeps showing up over and over again in my life, and I think we're getting into that resonance, if you will, that harmonic that Gaia is in, that Schumann resonance that she runs with as well. We're actualizing it, we're realizing it, and we're getting into a more symbiotic relationship with that, as opposed to a control relationship where we try to manipulate outcome.
Right, absolutely. And so I remember us talking about the feeling of this event, of it being this experience of being on the ground and really integrating the lessons that we have learned. It's a post-disclosure kind of event. And so after we communicated, I moved full-time onto my land, which actually is a story all on its own. I'll just give a brief synopsis for those of you who are not aware. I found this land in 2015. It was purchased by a man named Stuart, who had died in 2013. And he told everybody that he was a star being from Andromeda, that that at some point this little Chinese girl from Andromeda was going to show up, and that this land was meant for her. And then he died in March. And that was precisely when I began to communicate with this male Andromedan being that literally guided me on my journeys for the next 2 years until I eventually ended up here on this land. And the people were like, oh my gosh, it's you. You talk like Stu. You are like Stu. Stu says this land is for you. I don't know. It's like some Andromedan lineage project. And they just kind of handed me the reins. And that was in 2015. So that was 5 years ago. And even back then, it was very apparent that the land wanted to be a starseed activation school. They called it a star being training facility. And just last month, I got the go-ahead from the land to actually organize our first event. And this event is going to be in September. It's going to be intimate for maybe just about 111 people. And actually, the theme of the event is activating our superpowers, and the land is asking for us to come together in our embodiment and pray for water to come out of the ground. And so while there are workshops about, interdimensionality and psychic seeing and the miracle realm and connecting with different frequencies and star talk, being understanding how to communicate with different stars and opening stargates in that way. While there are workshops around all of those things to bring us into a high frequency, we're going to have a water ceremony on the last day all together, where, there's a lot of people who say, oh, I connect with the fairy realm, or I'm a mermaid. Well, mermaids and fairies know how to communicate with elementals, and all of us, we do too. And so this is really an experience for us to get on the ground and collectively remember what being a human on Earth actually feels like and what actually looks like. And that's not really something that any one of us can teach, because, we all grew up in the false matrix. And yes, there are wisdom keepers on this land that I'm kind of connecting with right now that may come and hold space with us. But there just has been so much trauma to this ancestral knowing that we want to really open up a space for us all to access that knowing from inside. I want to open this space to invite you to explore that part of you. What would happen if you started communicating with the consciousness of plants and the earth? What could happen if we came together, especially when the land has asked for this? So when the land first communicated with me that she wants us to pray for water, 5 minutes later, the well driller on the land disappeared. This is like a multi-ton piece of machinery, right? That's like $40,000 is large, is like a giant piece of metal that is meant to drill deep into the earth for a well. Well, the earth told me that we're going to be calling the water out, and this giant piece of machinery literally disappeared. Like somebody came and stole it or something. I just got a phone call from my land steward saying, hey, our well driller is stolen. I said, well, I was just talking to land, and I don't think that's a coincidence. I think she just didn't want to get drilled. So,
Amazing.
yeah, so we're really, no, go ahead. I'm
I was
complete.
just saying, amazing what's happening and what you're calling forward together. And I'm really happy that you're talking about this also, because in my meditations and dream state, in my quiet time, I keep hearing that it's time also for the Rainbow Bridge. And here in Hawaii, I'm being guided to call in the Native American energy onto the islands of Hawaii. And when you talk about what's happening in the land there and how we're bridging the David consciousness with Gaia, with the cosmic as well, and the ancestral lineage that's also healing because we're healing, the way that the consciousness of all of it is able to rise and create this new beautiful foundation again of organic co-creation and living. The old matrix can't survive in that, but thank goodness that it's, like you said, it's not crumbling all at once, because it wouldn't be sustainable for all of us. We're being guided into really jumping into a feather bed rather than falling down some deep abyss. And what you're bringing through, why I was so excited to have you on the show, it's because of the bridge that you are, and not just the bridge, but also a catalyst for new consciousness to be awoken. So the special offer, just to give it a little more time, to get into those 3 days, to get into the medicine at the end of it, to get into what's distorting. It's just an amazing opportunity to do that within ourselves. But Z, when we're doing it within ourselves, the implications of us going through that type of healing or remembering, it reaches so much further than we can fathom in this consciousness. And so for y'all that are interested in the special offer, click on the special offer button on the webcast page again, or again, go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Z21, XI21, and it'll take you to that same page. And Z, $97 with a 2 payment option. It's a gift because your private sessions alone are worth a lot more than that. And to be able to have this collective consciousness and for the medicine and the transformation that you provide for anyone that participates in that, again, to get past this distortion, to get into the remembering, to get into the truth and that leadership, and to be able to hold it so steady. It's a gift. The rooster agrees. It's a gift in transformation, and again, in stepping into our own divinity and our own love and experiencing it for ourselves and gifting it to other from that place. So y'all take advantage of that on the special offer. Z, should we go into your transmission?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. And y'all, we're going to open up to some Q&A also. So as Z prepares here, and I'm going to put on my headphones so that you don't hear the roosters in the background as the transmission is happening, because I don't want that interrupted, even though they're amazing facilitators of energy. Trust me, I know. Especially when they wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. But we are going to open up.
Meditate.
Exactly.
It's time to meditate.
Like, what are you dreaming about? Tell us. But we are going to take some live Q&A. So there's already some hands raised here. If y'all want to raise your hands, it should be on the upper right-hand corner where you can raise your hand. Here on Zoom, you can type your question onto the chat box. Or April has told me that we can, if you're on a Mac, it's Alt-Y. If you're on the Mac, it's Option-Y or Command-Y. No, Option-Y. There we go. And on a PC, it is Alt-Y, and it'll raise your hand as well. And Z, I'm going to plug in here, and I'm going to let you take it away. Take us away.
Okay, so can you hear me clearly? Okay. So I just invite everybody to get comfortable, and you can lie down or sit, whatever is going to allow this energy to come in easy, allow your body and your mind to relax. And just know that for the next few minutes here, there's nothing for you to do, nowhere to be. Come into a place of stillness.
And Z, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. We had to mute everybody. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll be connecting into the field of aliveness, or as I say, Gaia consciousness. It's just a different frequency of being where we're free from any pressure or anxiety or fear. We're actually in the present, and there's no pressure to be in the present. We're just here because we know that deep, deep inside, we know that we are loved and supported and provided for and safe, that when we exist in that frequency, when we're connected to the fabric of everything that is perpetually resonating, that vibration of all rightness, when we are in that playing field of life, we're released to be free to be ourselves. So we connect now to that frequency of freedom. And so just breathe. Here we go.
I had to take off my headphones because the land wanted to receive the transmission also. I had to take it off my headphones and I could feel it and it was pulsating over here. So beautiful. Wow. Oh, so beautiful. What's coming through you, Z, and what's your awareness of what's being emanated?
I guess the beauty of nature is what I can describe it as. I mean, usually all the codes that come through are different depending on the song, but this specific one, I feel like with your energy and the energy of the land where you are, I definitely feel like there's an exchanging, that our lands are talking. It's like because I feel like the ecosystem here is changing. So right now it's like a high desert place, but I continuously see leafy, more jungly type plants being grown here. And, with the coming of the water, the land is going to shift. So I feel like there's just this interconnection of ecosystem energy that's happening. And of course, reconnecting and activating that part of our sensory, that organic animal part of ourself that is so deeply connected with the life force of the planet. And there's that psychic communication that wakes up where we begin to remember that we are in literal communication with life itself all the time, and how as life is consistently supporting us and filling us with this nurturance and this aliveness, this magic, that we remember that we have been neglecting that part of ourselves for so long, that our society really does a very bad job of communicating with her. And so we're remembering that feeling of being connected and being in that place of communication.
Ah, so beautiful. And the comments that are coming in, amazing. Hey, y'all, there's some of y'all who are asking when the classes were going to start. April actually typed in the link for the special offer onto the chat box, so you can find it there. But the online retreats is from March 27th through the 29th. And again, you can click on the link there and find out more about it. 2 payment option, $97. jump in with Z. Z, we've got a lot of people with their hands raised. You want to go ahead and start opening up to people coming on, asking questions?
Yeah, totally.
Let's do that. Or is there something else that you're compelled to share right now?
Oh, you're so sensitive.
I felt it. I felt like, oh, something else is coming through. So, yeah.
Just one thing. So I feel like there's some people that are kind of hesitating about joining. And what I want to say is that this energy is really something that, you know, as I say, I have the opportunity of being out here and just being in this energy all the time. My best friends are trees. You know, I never feel alone out here. And so it's this vibration and this connection that, you know, we are all carrying, that we all are becoming the walking gateways to, that the embodiment and of this vibration is actually, you know, just like being, again, it's kind of simple, just being alive on earth. But because we've been in the false reality for so long that, you know, we have to actually actively and consciously work on this. And so it's really an opportunity to bask in this energy. It never really much is about, you know, the things I say or the information that's being exchanged. I mean, yes, they help our mind and our ego to understand, but these sessions are usually just this transmission of this beautiful energy that is here. And that, of course, then you will have to cultivate that seed and bloom it in your body so that you can become walking portals of this organic living light of creation as well. So I just wanted to say that this space is available and that if you're feeling called, you should definitely come in. It's going to be beautiful.
It's going to be beautiful. And it's funny, as you speak, I keep getting this image, this guidance. And again, that it's not just an image for the sake of the image. I'm being shown the energy, and of course through symbols, through personas, through archetypes. And I'm seeing like two Native Americans standing across each other and doing an exchange, and it's like good trade. It's a good trade. It feeds. It's like you're exchanging something that has gifted you its love, its gift for you, and you've absorbed it. Now you're exchanging it for someone, and someone's going to benefit from your exchange, and you're going to benefit from this exchange. And so the balance feels so beautiful and so inspiring in that vision that I have. And again, that when you were talking about the special offer in that way and what's being offered through the land, y'all, I see it. It's a good trade. It's a beautiful trade. It's just you giving your love, however you've earned it. $97. Think of it as love energy, right? It is. And seeing what you're receiving for that exchange also. So beautiful. Y'all take advantage of that offer. And Z, let's go ahead and open up to the questions now. Let me let you pick people since you're hosting on that side. See who you want to choose.
Wait, me?
Yeah, you. We're gonna let Z pick.
Do I see? Oh, there's the hands up. Okay, I see. There's all these hands up. Let's see here then. Rita, you wanna come on? Can I unmute? Oh, no.
All right, I'll do the unmuting and all that. So I'll do it on my end. Hey, Rita.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hi.
See, I love you. I have been listening to everything that you have said and all of your everything since you were on John's show last year, and I can really feel a change. And I was on your live last night, and I'm just so excited that my root chakra is finally just, really clean. And I would not have been able to travel and visit my parents without you and your help with me, cleaning up my root chakra. So thank you so much.
You got it.
Don't really know if I have a question necessarily. I just feel so honored and that you that you're doing what you're doing, and I really want to be there. I want to be there Saturday with you, and I want to be there with you on your next this journey.
All right. Oh, it's so sweet. I'm so happy that they're helping.
I'm crying.
For those yeah, I have lots of free quantum healings on the internet. It's kind of what I do. I respond to responses from the universe, and sometimes the collective will say, like, I need a root chakra healing, and I'll just do like an hour and a half of ceremony and energy work. So there's plenty of those available on the internet.
So powerful, so unbelievably powerful. Thank you.
And Rita, thank you for sharing, because as you share, that expands within you. As you put it out there, it's that creative force proliferating.
Yeah.
Yes. So and it gives birth to that aspiration, those parts of us that are ready to be birthed in that way as well. So you've been a gift coming on, and you knew exactly what you were doing, even though you didn't know. So I appreciate you following your wisdom and your heart in that. And thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
All right, Z, I'm going to take you off the call so you can just relax. I'll choose people over here, so I'm just going to lead it for you. So we'll just
All right, thanks.
Yeah, that's all right. Let's go to Anna. You are going to be live with us now. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for choosing me.
Thanks for being on. What's your question for Z?
Oh, my question. Oh, first I will sing your praises. I just felt my heart open up. That was just beautiful. I'm currently, trying to stay strong and keep everybody else's out of worry. And I'm just wondering if you can help give me a little guidance on that, and just give me a little body scan and make sure I'm open to being that divine vessel for my family and those around me.
You bet. So let's see here. Okay, so the first energy that I'm sensing, it is in the lower belly. I think it's related to the gallbladder meridian. And I'm just going to start pushing energy through here. As I explain, so, I did this video about the coronavirus a few days ago, where basically there's these viral belief systems that are coming up to be cleared, and we explored what fear is and what creates out of balanced being or disease. And the basic distortion that we have in our society is that our women who have that anatomy of channeling infinite creative energy in this way, that we're literally able to bring a being from a different dimension into this one. So when a society suppresses its women and suppresses the natural flow and energy of the women, we experience lack. And that basically is the crux of why humanity feels so much fear of death, is because death comes when there's not enough life force energy. And there can't be enough life force energy to nourish a whole tribe if the women have to shut down their sexual energy and cover themselves up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we do as women is, during this time, we especially work on connecting to that infinite creative energy. If it helps for you to be in your private space, it's good to allow your breasts to be free. And there's an exercise called the deer exercise, in which you're actually arousing your creative energy and moving it through your body. Because, think about, how moms are shamed in public for nurturing their babies in our society, and how, breasts are this item to be sexualized, when really, when a society allows and respects life force energy, right? When a society respects life and has reference for life and allows our women, where the men actually encourages and protects the women, that makes them feel even more free to express more creative energy. This is how we access abundance, how we access infinite abundance as a tribe, as a society. So as you work through your blockages in being free to express yourself, you're going to notice that you have more nourishing energy that's flowing from you. And this is actually the antidote of the fear of death. of lack that we experience as a planet. I know it sounds kind of unrelated, but this is actually the crux of it.
Okay.
All right, Anna, great question coming in. And come back and listen to the replay. There's a lot being shared here.
Yes, yes, I know. I'm listening, trying to get it all in. Thank you so much.
You have to try so hard to absorb, just relax into it. And again, the mental part can be absorbed during the replay. Come back and listen over and over again.
Thank you. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much. Many blessings.
Blessings to you too. And of course, again, the special offer, that retreat, that online retreat was we'll give the website link out again. You guys already know how to find it, but we'll go there again, just in case. All right, Z, let's go now to, let's go to Charlene. Charlene, welcome.
Oh,
Hi,
that's so
Charlene.
wonderful. First of all, I just wanted to say that the universe literally dropped you in my lap. I had tried to buy another package from another healer on your program, John, and the link came through to G instead the last time she was on. And so I listened to her and I heard her music and my whole being just wept, and I felt so much joy. I'm a singer myself, and it was so, I've listened to so many spiritual truth tellers these days that are putting their music out there. And G, you're the first that really touched my soul in a way that is my own truth. And it was such an incredible blessing. And I'm so happy for you. Congratulations on
Thank you.
your land and your baby. And when I see you, it's just literally, you are such a beautiful incarnation of the Taoist expression and that truth in living in nature. And it does my heart so much good. I've written a play. It's a musical. It's called Chaos War Bride.
Well,
And
Charlene, I want to ask you, because I want to go through a whole bunch of calls. What's your question? And I love that you're doing your creative expression and all that. And I certainly don't mean to rush you, but I want to honor everybody else that's on the call. And I love your energy, by the way. But did you have a question for Z? The praise. Z is awesome.
I had this dream.
Yeah, like
I had this dream this morning, and I don't know if I was on a bridge or in a giant building, but everything shattered, and I was like flying or falling, and I was terrified, and then I felt like I was suspended and I could just not fall. And in the dream, all this broken glass went shattering into the water that was beneath me. And the dream went, you don't have to throw yourself, wait for the glass to pass, because it will fall through the water. And then you can be in the water and you'll be safe.
So let's see what you have to say about that. Is that your question?
Yep.
All right.
well, when you say the glass, it makes me think about like kind of this layer of illusion that we spend our lives in. And I feel like it's like, when you look at the world, it's not like there's a literal block that keeps you from seeing the real vibrations of reality, but it is something that keeps people locked into that false matrix vibration. So it feels like that shattering glass is that energy, that illusion almost shattering, not just from your reality, but from the collective reality. In a sense, like maybe there's a sense of urgency in your body to get somewhere or to get something done. And maybe that, this period of time is really a blessing where spirit is so strong, where the collective energy is so strong that that glass, that collective illusion is really breaking. And that if you just allow this period of time to move by, that maybe you're already ready to hold space. You're already ready to be that person that, swims with the people when the glass breaks. So you cannot feel so anxious about what's coming and just know that you are already there.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Charlene. Take that in and see how that resonates for you and allow it to stir through you as well, because there's a lot of wisdom and you have your own wisdom that'll combine with that will just take you closer to that light that's evoking, emanating, that you already carry. So beautiful. All right, Z, got a question that came in from Deborah. Deborah writes, "Hi, John and Z. I feel like I'm being called to lions and elephants, but not sure what direction of what I should do. Can you give me any insight?"
Lions and elephants. Elephants are a huge theme in me and my family's life. It feels like the elephant tribe is a very wise, it's like a big mammal, so it's like they got a lot of consciousness. It's almost like, the bigger the brain, kind of the bigger the animal, the more experience they've had in through evolution. You don't start off being an elephant, right? And the elephant also carries the template for like this peaceful mother-led society that really cares and carries all of its members. So the elephant really, to me, is energy that reminds me of family and tribe. Maybe you are integrating some aspects of peacekeeper in your community, where you're reminding people that really, like, we're family. There's this grounded, mature, and mammalian way of loving and being together, that, that's the feeling that I get from the elephant. As far as the lion, gee, I don't haven't really connected with that energy very much. So I feel like, there are a lot of different things it could be. Strength is one of them. I guess cats are really sure of themselves. I hear that when people are allergic to cats is that they're afraid to fully express themselves. So that's all that come to mind for now.
Coming in, I'm very connected to the lion energy recently. And I've had cats showing up again in my life. I had a series of it years ago, and the lyrian cosmic energy started coming in, and what they're grounding in, and again, another consciousness, if you will, that's coming through, supporting us during these great times of transition. So again, all of these symbols that are coming in for us, say, are beautiful. And again, my awareness of that lion, it's there's a resonance with earth. There's a resonance of being in organic nature, and bringing in that wisdom and how we flow. There's so much presence with lions.
Yeah.
You don't have to chase
Right.
until it's time, and you'll be called to. And there's patience, there's being cool, being held back, but also this leadership capacity that's so integrated and so knows its place in its own kingdom. You don't doubt where you are. You just know, as the lion, you're humming with that resonance, and you trust that resonance of where it's going to lead you. So it's beautiful. A lot of people, myself included, Z, are getting, again, all of these visions during dream time, or again, meet cats running in front of my car over and over and over again. Luckily, I haven't hit one, thank God. All these different signs, dreams that we're remembering more often than before. What is it that you do, or what guidance can you give to many of us who are having these types of visions or these symbols showing up for us in multiple ways?
Okay, so I feel like what is wanting to come through is that we like to think that only our brain and our mind and our intellect in this part of our body process information, but actually our whole entire body is a sounding board, is a resonance receiver for psychic information. And so one of the greatest ways we can get in touch with our own guidance, because symbols can mean such extraordinarily different things to different people,
Right.
right? So, and it could also mean a different thing from your heart to your kidneys. Like your kidneys could respond to something much differently than your elbow would. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous, but as we kind of the best way to get in touch with our own psychic knowing is through meditating, becoming aware of where our blockages are in the energy body, because the blockages in our energy body literally stifle our ability to have fluid information move through our body. And we'll notice that our upper body experiences energy and information in a much different texture and speed than our lower body does. And it's like most of the time we don't slow down enough to access the information in our root chakra that actually oscillates so slowly that you really have to come into this place of stillness and calm to even access the amazing information that's in there. So
yeah, it's wonderful, Z, and great awareness again and again. We seem to be having one experience, but the truth is we're having multiple experiences at once. And how we tap into that wisdom and have a relationship with it is a gift, and you teach it in, again, multi-dimensional ways. See, if someone goes to the online retreat and the special offer, are you going to teach also how to find those distortions, those blockages in our body? Is that part of what's going to be included in there?
absolutely. Very extraordinarily important. And it's so simple. It's so simple.
And sometimes we have to and maybe we've heard the simplicity before, but we forget, we get distracted. And there's other layers of us that are more empowered now because of other type of awareness that we've brought in and said yes to, that we're ready to receive it in a whole different context and different way to put it into, to apply it into our lives. So it's wonderful. All right, Z, let's go to another caller here. Let's go to Alan. Alan, how are you? It says it's Alan, and I've unmuted you.
Yes, here I am.
Okay, well, you're definitely not
actually
Alan, or maybe
Mayuri.
you
I'm using my husband's iPad.
are. What is your name, and what's your question for Z?
My name is Mayuri, and
Mayuri.
I'm 67 years old.
You look
and
awesome.
I feel like I'm just making contact with the planet, and I just found this so beautiful, and I want to do the retreat, and I just want to know if she has anything to say to me. And
Okay, so I'm tuning into your energy body. There seems to be some pressure around the neck area, the shoulders and the neck and the back of the head. There's some anxiety here, something that you're worried about. So I'm seeing like the vision of like a bird cage, and the bird cage door is open, but it's like the bird has been inside the cage for so long that like it's like scared of leaving, even though that's what it wanted like for this whole time.
yeah, that sounds like me. Yeah.
So let's see if we can just clear out some of this anxiety energy. And let's tap the thymus. There seems to be a little bit of calcification in the energy here in the thymus. And it's like we're reminding the bird that there's nothing more natural than for it to be free.
Yeah.
We'll open the back of the heart here. Open up the wings. There's an implant here actually in the heart, in the back, in the front and back of the heart. So I'm going to pull this out, okay? Yeah, that seemed to have actually been playing a huge part in that agitation. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling more open. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like freedom's a possibility suddenly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna put a little orb of energy here. It's just gonna complete this process. Probably take 10 minutes or something, but then it'll move through. So yeah, I think we can move on to the next caller. Actually, that energy will just do its own thing for a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for calling in. It's funny, Z, because I could feel it. I can feel it in my throat, around my neck also as that was coming through. So even that orb is even as empathic as perhaps I am, or I know that I am, or as empathic as y'all are. even as we have people coming on the line and saying it, we pick it up, but we don't have to hold on to it also. And anytime that we pick it up also, that orb of energy, I felt it when you started to expand it in, if you will, to share it also. I could feel something relaxing through me, which is relaxing through you, or is relaxing through you, then it relaxed through me. So it's this web that we have within each other is very powerful. And again, what you're bringing in to eliminate the distortions helps us really to navigate, have awareness, clear our own space, and again, become that clarity, not only for ourselves, but for others as well. And so again, the ripple effects of it are so beautiful. All right, Z, let's go to.
You're a good talker, John.
It's I like hearing myself. What can I say? No, this is amazing to me, and it's so wonderful just to feel this energy and to be able to translate it as best I can, in the hopes that you all receive it also, that you feel the love that's available through whatever is being channeled through this particular vehicle. Z, let's go now to.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Let's go to Elaine. Elaine Marcos. Hello.
Hey, hello. How are you doing?
I was listening.
Hi.
How are you going? Are you well?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for being on here. There you are. We can see you. Elaine, what is your question for Z?
I don't know so much as a question, but just an observation. What's a good tool for people to come into that infinite presence? You know, people are surrounded by fear. They have a soul voice, they have an inner knowing, but it comes out of alignment. So but what's a good tool to bring people back into the present awareness?
I'm hearing breath. It's something that, I mean, there's a lot of different ways for different people. Generally, I call these the inner medicine cabinet. You have movement and breath, stillness and meditation, qigong, which is kind of like moving of energy and intention, and making sounds. So I feel like for you, something that you can connect with is breath. And I know that sounds, it's like, oh yeah, we know that we have to breathe and we know we have to come into the moment, but like in the moment of when you need to breathe, can you remember to do it? And there's also all of these different breathwork techniques that we can do, breathwork ceremonies. And, it's literally a hallucinogen that you can do, in your living room for no money at all. That is the body's natural way of resetting itself in every way. The breath technique that I work with, particularly, there is actually a whole ceremony that is free on my YouTube channel if you just searched Earthstar Healer on YouTube. But basically is the Taoist one breath. Is really simple. You breathe in and breathe out with no pause in the middle. And I know that sounds too simple, but actually we all have these patterns that we start developing and we inherit from the stresses and the traumas throughout our life, that most of the time we're not even breathing. We're not even aware of how we're breathing. So we might breathe in and hold it for a long time. We're holding our breath, we don't even know. And then we breathe out really fast. And there's like these little patterns. So the idea is, it's called the Taoist one breath, is that when you come into this perfect in and exhale and inhale in a perfect circle with no pause at all in between the inhale and the exhale, about 20 minutes into doing this, you actually start resetting your nervous system, your consciousness, the traumas in your body. I usually do this for at least 45 minutes to an hour to really get the effects. But I have done it for, 2-3 hours too. It's not, if it gets too intense, just stop doing it. So you can't really overdose on this medicine. But again, it's just so simple and ingrained into our body as our natural design of resetting. So
Awesome. It reminds me of, I used to do martial arts a long time ago. So this almost feels like a long retreat. It feels like part of me that's done many, many
Yeah.
years of retreats in whatever space in timeless time we are in. Is just coming back to
Yeah,
something.
that's great. You know, sometimes when artists take a break, when they get back to doing it, it's like 80 billion times better. I feel like this reunion is going to be really profound.
I like that phrase of like beginner's mind, which I remember a martial arts master saying. It's like when you first start, you know nothing and it's perfect, and then you know everything and you know nothing, and then you come back to knowing nothing at all.
There you go.
It feels like humanity's come back to that. I have to just say something to Jose. I have to say thank you so much for hosting this. It's beautiful, but just a weird synchronicity for you. I was born in a place called Burgos in northern Spain, so your surname is where I was born. And that's
Burgos.
what drew me to
Yes.
you.
We're very well connected. Well, thank you for being on here, and thank you for sharing. And great question and cool for everybody. So appreciate that. And I love it. I love how you were being of service to everybody with the question as well. It was, I can really feel your intention and the power behind it. And again, how it serves you. So wonderful. Again, everybody, we're going to run the call again. And so we'll have the replay up. The video will have to render for a little bit. So it may take a little bit longer than usual for the replay. But know that that'll come up. We'll send an email out with that. And you can always access replays by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/replay. Z, I feel it. What's coming through you?
I feel you too, bro.
There's like this hum that's pulsating right there. There's just so much energy streaming through, and I love how dark and the beauty of nature behind you, by the way. As the sun's falling and the beautiful colors that are changing. Z, are there any messages from Gaia that are coming in? I think that's where the guidance was taking me to. And I think that's where I want to end the call with perhaps a message, a transmission, an awareness from Gaia for all of us on tonight's call.
She's doing great. She is so alive and she is very excited because she, yeah, it's been a long time since humans have really appreciated and stayed in communication with her. Actually, I know it's like everything that happened on Earth, even though it was a little bit extreme, it was meant as a learning experience for us embodied, anchored angels to learn about responsibility. And so it has been a great honor for her to hold space for that level of cosmic evolutionary learning. Yes, there were some beings that got a little bit too comfortable with their power and took their role a little bit too far. That is true. However, it is still in cosmic alignment that, we have learned these lessons, and now she is done with the lesson. We have learned what we needed to learn, and she is about to go into this period of cleansing, and that there is nothing to fear. I'm hearing just like, be in a place of peace, be in a place of love, connect with her, feel how she's really feeling, because there's a lot of fear things flying around where it's like, oh, it's the end of the world, blah, 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 it's so scary. But when you really tune in to how she's feeling and how the plants and the animals and, the galactics are feeling, there's actually a super expansive feeling of support and love and joy and celebration in the air. And so continue to tune into the true reality, tune into the truth of what's happening on Earth, which is, we're coming into graduation. And so we know the graduation party is coming. And when we're in a place of clarity by doing our own work, then we can better hear and respond to the things that she will ask of us. Like, for example, at this point, I'm pretty much getting little missions every day. Today I'm going to
make the ceremony for everyone about this energy. The next day I'm going to make an altar in this place in my forest. And the next day, you know, I'm building a fire to, so on Saturday, I'm being called to start a collective fire ceremony where I invite, you know, everyone around the world to start a fire with me, just like in a pit. And the intention is to clear the coagulated astral energies around the deep underground military bases. And so we can only respond to that level of work if we are clear ourselves. And then we can really start to show up in this really fun and loving way for the collective and for our planet. So it's not like this stressful, urgent thing. It's not the scary, oh no, if we don't do this, we're all going to die kind of thing. It's just, yay, this is like what we can do to contribute in this epic time of, you know, recalibration. So
Beautiful message, Z. Thank you so much for that. And again, y'all come and listen to the replay, because again, there's so much that's being shared on here and so much wisdom, and feel the tranquility that's coming in through the words, through the awareness in your body. And of course the singing transmission, oh my God, you'll have that gift as well on the replay. And of course the special offer with Z, you know where to find it already. The link's in the chat box as well in case you haven't found it. And before we end tonight's call, everybody that's here with us, I want to invite you in, if you're so guided to, Z, this being that is gestating inside of you, for me, it's a celebration of life as well. And so I want to celebrate life and bless with all the love that I can this beautiful creation that you're gifting us in consciousness and humanity to expand what else is possible in love. So if you all would join me and just send a beautiful blessing in love to Z, I so would honor and welcome that on tonight's call, and that to be extended out to this beautiful being who gives so generously and wondrously to all of us in her expression of love. And I hope you receive that, Z, and it keeps flowing over and over too. And so thank you so much for being on the call with us tonight. Thank you for sharing your love, your light, and for just being, God, I'm going to say this, what wants to come through. Y'all, sorry for being a brave motherfucker in this reality right now, for showing us the courage and standing up in this light. I asked three times, like, yep, that's what we want to share. I was like, okay. It's like, that's what wanted to come through. Some part is acknowledging that warrior aspect, if you will. And I think that's what is shining through. And the warrior doesn't have to be an emanation of dark force. It's, again, that stands for love, that stands for light. And thank you for being that as well. All right, y'all, we may have lost Z here. And again, I want to thank all of y'all for being on the call, for being part of the light, a huge part of the light that's emanating in our reality right now. And it's with that I send y'all a huge hug, all my love, and namaste.